What if this whole time, all you've been missing was a different perspective? You don't need any more advice. You need clarity. I'm Meghan Mason, and this is Clarity Calls. Hello, I'm excited to welcome Nilzara Rivera to the show. She is also known as the Light Language Mystic. Nilzara is a light language channeler and a healer who talks about spirituality in a very grounded, straightforward, and authentic way. I'm excited to hear more about her journey, her perspective, and where this conversation is going to take us. Welcome, Nilzara.
Thank you. That sounded fancy. Thank you. I'm excited.
So I want to just jump right in with you explaining, just in your own words, like what is light language? Because I know a lot of people out there have never heard of it, or maybe not sure of what it means. And I think there's different forms of it. So if you want to explain.
Yeah, so light language, what's crazy is I think TikTok, which is the main platform I use, does a great job of making my feed of like-minded people where I feel like more people know about light language. But then when I'm in Louisiana and it's like nobody knows. They're
Yeah.
just kind of like, what is that? And I'm like,
Yeah.
what? What are you talking about? So it's wild to me. I guess in my world, in my own little, following there, I feel like I'm connected to so many people that have this understanding. But realistically, like you said, not a lot of people do. So I love that we're having this conversation because it is your own soul's language. Like if you're think of your soul having a frequency, and
Yeah.
that's how you communicate with source. It's like direct divine communication. So we are here on this earth with, I don't want to say the limitation of our physical body, but
Hmm.
our soul is so much more advanced than where we are currently. We're trying to attach all the dots and like connect everything. And so what light language does, it totally bypasses the logical mind and it taps into that soul energy, frequency, vibration, healing, however you want to put it. And
Yeah.
so it does come in three different forms. Uh, so vocal, movement, and then in script as well. And I'm sure, there's probably anything that really helps you feel like your energy has shifted with the intention. You can even probably put it under that category. But those are the three areas that are like mainly I'm creating light codes to change my energetic field to support my intention.
Hmm.
So, and it's been documented across ancient times. So this is not something that's new. This
Yeah.
is not something that's exclusive to like one culture or one religion, with which I think is beautiful because it obviously shows that God or source or whatever terminology you want to use will absolutely meet you where you're at.
Right.
So, for me, light language started speaking in tongues in the Christian church when I was like 10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then I deconstructed, in the church depending on what part, where you're at in the church, some people will require you to have translators. Some people only allow their congregation to use it if you're healing or in prayer. So it was kind of limited, but it was mainly a way to like glorify God and to help lay hands for healing on people is how I used it in the church. But once,
So, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
yeah.
So, were you taught it? Like, was this something that like they were trying to teach you, or you just like discovered at the age of 10 that you could do it?
So I went to a camp called Missionettes with
Hmm.
Missionettes. It's like Girl Scouts, but on the Christian side of things. And
Okay.
this is when like the holy filled churches were really popular in the 90s.
Yeah.
And so there was a group of us, 10, 11, 12-year-old girls. We all went into this kind of conference room and they're like, we're going to be filled with the Holy Spirit today. And we're like, yeah, not knowing what the hell is going on, you know? And
Yeah.
it was the craziest experience. They were just like, hey, be free in this, whatever your mouth does, you know, let it move with it. And I mean, I would say there was probably 50, 60 girls in this room, and we're just all letting it rip. And
Wow.
we're just going. And for me, I felt like I sounded like a lamb in the beginning. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just kind of looking around, feeling aware, but that my mouth and my body was experiencing something separate.
Yeah.
So it was like this weird, like, what is happening? This is cool, but why?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, what an
What
experience.
now? Yeah, yeah. And it was so like normal back then. Everyone's like, congratulations, you guys, this is great. And we're all like, okay, cool, you know? So
Yeah.
it was just like, it was such a hyped time to be a Christian where I was at. I don't know if it's, the 90s, I feel like was kind of like, what would Jesus do? And all of the hype,
Yeah, yeah.
everything was going on then. And I feel that that's probably when we were most spiritual versus like really constricted. And then it kind of like made its way back to what it is. I feel like what it is now.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I started off in the church like that, and we would have youth services. We would be laid out, speaking in tongues, hands in the air. And
Yeah.
we were also they were big on expression. So prophetic dancing is the same concept as light language in the spiritual world with movement.
Yeah.
And then there was also prophetic drawing or painting. It's the same concept in the spiritual world with light language and script. So
Yeah.
it just has a different title. Um, I have a light language guide, and it goes over like the different terms that you can use, or if you're a big researcher, to
Hmm.
have specific terms, like you'll look up glossolalia or ecstatic speech, speaking in tongues, light language. They are all the same thing, just different culture, religion, but it's all the
Oh,
same
okay.
phenomenon. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That is amazing. So do you do all three?
I do. Hmm.
Is there one that it just seems more natural to you that you like to use?
I would say vocal and movement are probably the two that are like at the vocal is probably number one, movement is number two, and then because I can't always move. Like depending on where I'm at, I can't always do my movement. I mean, I guess I could if I'm at the grocery store, like I could
Yeah.
do whatever,
Yeah.
but sound is always at the forefront, and then movement when it's more intimacy and me, or if I'm doing work with a client. And then script is very and I have to be very intentional about it. I loved script. I probably love script the most just because I create something that I can hold on to, and like, okay, I have this beautiful image here, and I'm just going to lay it on my chest and allow me to absorb the codes. Or if I need to go back to that image that I created for my anxiety, for a very
Yeah.
loose example, I can
Yeah.
grab that and go back to it. So I think,
Yeah.
in that aspect is probably my favorite. Not that you can't record
Yeah.
yourself singing and moving, but the papers, it's just so much different because it's something that you've created.
Yeah. So with the script, is it like scribbling or do designs come out or is it artwork? How would you describe it?
So I wish I would have planned a little better because I have an example here somewhere, but it's different for everybody. Light language, the way it looks and feels, it's so different for everybody. But for some people, it's just like movement of the hand. Some people get patterns, like very symmetric
Yeah.
patterns, and
Hmm.
some people create very beautiful abstract type art with it.
Yeah.
So it's just different for everybody, but I don't ever want anybody to feel like this is what light language has to look like.
Yeah.
Honestly, as long as you set your intention, you go into your doodling
Yeah.
motions, just know that whatever your hand is doing, just take that as like, hey, this is what is needed to create the light codes to shift the energy to support what I'm wanting or my intention. So,
Yeah. So just for your understanding of my background, like I never knew about light language until a few years ago. And again, my story is just very different where a few years ago I started sensing spirit. I realized that um I dived into like mediumship and psychic and try to learn about all of it because I'm like, what is happening? Like why
yeah.
why all of a sudden do I like hear, my husband's, dead grandma.
Oh my goodness.
But anyways, it took me down this path of just wanting to learn more. So I went with a mentor named Victoria Bond, and I absolutely love her. And she told me, or she taught me about light language. And
Mhm.
I remember I was so nervous and scared because yeah, just kind of what you're describing as a child at the church, like she was saying the same thing, like just don't even think about it. Just whatever, and if it's writing, if it sounds, like just relax and just see what comes out. And she does light language, and it's really, I mean, crazy how my body would react to her doing light language. I mean, I could feel it through my whole body. And when she would do it, I mean, I could get into like that meditative type state. I could get, what people call like getting into the power for like a mediumship reading when she would do light language. And I'm like, I want to be able to do this. This is so
Yes.
cool.
Hmm.
Um, and so I am familiar with it. It wasn't something that like stuck with me like that strong. Like it's still, there's times that I'll like go back and try it again. Like usually it's vocal for me. Um, but I do notice it's like how you were talking about like the dancing. Yeah, before some of my readings, all like that's how I loosen up. That's how I'll just be dancing and just kind of going with the movement. And so I guess that is a form of light language that I'm doing. Um, but yeah, it's really interesting. But yeah, I never even heard of the word until a few years ago. And so I know that yeah, there's probably a lot of people listening that don't even know what light language is. But can you give us a background of what it can do for people?
Light language it can do a lot of things, okay? It does a lot of things, but the number one thing that I use it for is repair. So, oftentimes when I do my healings, I'm using light language to like clear things out, but not only that, repair things. And I'm not talking about we're just going to repair the chakra. I'm talking about down to a cellular level, like down to the smallest, tiniest parts of you that might be off or that might have been traumatized because epigenetics, if that's the how I say it, pronunciate it, Jesus, it shows that trauma can be passed down on a cellular level.
Yeah.
So with light language, I can do all the energy work, but then I can go in down to the cells and intentionally do light language to repair that. So not only are we just clearing energy, we're repairing what has created the excess or the stagnant energy. So it goes down so much deeper than regular Reiki does. And I think Reiki's powerful. I do Reiki too. Or, just a meditation. It goes down to the deepest parts of you and it allows things to shift for you that in a normal body we wouldn't be able to do.
Yeah.
So, and it bypasses the mind. So, like, if I set an intention that I'm in a moment, I'm having a human experience with some anxiety, and I just need this anxiety to shift. I know that in my mind it's just shifting, but with light language, it's doing something much deeper within me to help support that shift. It's just not like this superficial shift that's happening. It's something much deeper that's going to help me support the next time this happens. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So do you have to know like I know you said anxiety, so you don't have to know maybe exactly what's causing the anxiety? Um, or is there a way to like find out what caused the anxiety? Or does
So
it
I
not
would
matter?
say the more clear on the intention, the better. You
Hmm.
know, the more clear, the better. But at the end of the day, like the best part that I love about light language is sometimes, especially for those of us who are on intense healing journeys when it comes to really crazy trauma from the past, sometimes shit just comes up and we're like, I would like to run you over today and I can't do that. So I need to figure this out, you know?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
sometimes it's just so much emotions coming forward that it's like, okay, all right, source, like this is it, this is the experiencing I'm having. All I know, I'm overwhelmed. I can't pinpoint anything because I'm in the moment. I just need this energy to shift. Help me shift this energy so I could be grounded. So like obviously the more that you can pinpoint things, but honestly, like source knows way
yeah,
more than we do at any capacity, right? So as long as the intention is there, the permission is given, and we go into it and support ourselves in that moment, then that's when that happens. So I would not be the person. I know there's going to be people that are like, well, if I can pinpoint, it'll be perfect. Yo, like, I get it. You know, the clearer the better. However, in those heightened moments, like taking care of ourselves is really important. And the sooner
yeah,
we can get into processing whatever is going on, the better it is for us, the less chance of it sticking. You know, like the
yeah.
quicker we can tap into that, the better.
So can you feel like the energetic like release of that emotion? Or do you just start ever crying or is there any type of sign that it's been released?
All of the above. I feel all the things. Sometimes I'm crying. Sometimes I can feel it in my body leaving. Like sometimes I'll have a sensation somewhere in my body. And I take it as a sign like that's where I was holding on to it. Like that's where it started to pay rent in my body.
Yeah,
And so I've released that. But I always tell people like do the light language until you feel this shift in your body.
yeah.
So sometimes that's crying, sometimes that's burping, farting, sneezing, you know, like
Oh, yeah.
however your body can release and to hang tight because for some things it might take a little longer. You might have to do some more movement. During those times too, like if you feel led to do movement, if you feel led to draw, if you feel led to, I don't know, lay down and move your hips, whatever it is in that time, that's going to help support that shift happen.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned all those. I yawn. And there's like one particular thing every time I do I'm like, I know I'm just releasing. I mean, I can't stop yawning and
Yes.
and it's a movement that I'm doing. Like I do this movement with my arms and but it just I'll yawn the whole way through it
Mhm.
but then I'll feel like a release.
Yes, I'm
And
a
that's how.
burper and it's embarrassing. I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. I promise I don't have indigestion. It's just shit's moving, literally. So I don't know.
Yeah. But that's awesome that you own it because I think a lot of people might be embarrassed or they wouldn't ever like want to do it again. And it's like, who cares? Like it doesn't, believe me. The release that you feel and just like the lightness in your body, it is it's worth it.
Yes, yes, for
Digging
sure.
deeper.
Hmm.
Yeah. I was thinking like when you said like you'll start feeling that heavy feeling coming through, will you have a feeling typically of like, should I just start writing or should I just start like having sounds come out? Like for the audience sake, like what I guess are they looking for? Or it does not matter. Like just do anything, whatever is easiest for you in the moment, maybe where you're at, like grab if it's people are around, maybe just grab a pen and paper and just start, doodling or, if you have more privacy, dance around, until you feel a release or like what would you recommend?
I would just recommend what's most comfortable in that
Hmm.
time frame because anything that's going to bring restriction We want to try and eliminate that. So if doing light language in your mind, if you're standing in the line at the grocery store or somewhere public where you really just kind of have to mind your P's and Q's, like tap into it into your mind. Or if you can doodle, like nonchalantly do that. So it's kind of a mixture. So whatever is going to bring less restriction. So if that, like I said, if you're in line or you're somewhere in public, what can you do that's not going to make you like, oh, this is going to be so weird. People are going to look at me, because we want the mind to be as loose and fluid as we can.
Yeah.
Um, and there's no right or wrong. There's no like which one is better than the other. Honestly, it's like whatever's going to bring the less pressure or resistance to the situation.
Yeah. So what do you mean by do light language in your mind? Because I'm thinking it's more of like an outward type thing. So is it just a matter of setting an intention in your mind, like I'm doing light language and just kind of feel the energy flowing, or what's going on?
So when we practice, light language, you have to practice. And I just want to stress that for anybody and any gift that you're trying to like receive or work on. Like we're still human, we have to practice all the things, but in time, it's like a second language. So
Yeah.
just like you have thoughts in your mind or think things through, excuse me, there's the burping, it's starting. um, just like when you think things through, there will be a time where you'll be able to do it in your mind as well. So like for me, I can have conversation in English and be in light language at the same time. So that's how I kind of maneuver things when I'm doing healings and stuff on whoever, whether it's my client or they're distant, they're not even present. am still aware of what's going on, but I'm doing light language either verbally or in my mind to kind of help the situation. But it's just the same thing as talking to yourself in your mind, your thoughts, and those types of things. It'll be able to come online, second nature, once you start practicing and your ego's completely out of the way, right? It's like, oh, this
Yeah.
is normal. This is just how we do life. This is,
Yeah.
mhm.
So, can you tell me about how it works with your clients? Do you feel it on your end, maybe what they're feeling, or can you vision it, or it's all out and it's solely just having that energy kind of go through you into them. Can you explain how it works?
Yeah. So when I specifically do. So your light language is going to show up for you depending on what your gifts are.
Hmm.
So for me, I like my clairs are online. I pretty much have, I feel like I have all the clairs from,
Yeah.
all of them. And so when I'm doing a healing, particularly I'm going to focus on my distant healing. So my distant healings is just somebody says, "Hey, I need healing." And I'm like, "Cool, you'll get a video of me doing it in 72 hours." So I record myself for 45 minutes and I bilocate into their energetic field. And then I am able to sometimes see things, feel things, understand things. I get visions. And then I also channel. Sometimes I get visitation of people that have passed. I only ask for the higher good, like they're here for healing. Like if whatever you have to say isn't going to benefit this, then I don't want to hear any of it. So
Yeah.
sometimes I have people cross over and they're like, "Hey, just tell her I'm sorry," or the dog comes over and it's like, "We're so excited, we're here." And so I'll relay those messages, but it's all while I'm doing light language. There's movement. I'm speaking in light language, and then I'll get a channel. So I'll be tapping into whoever, whatever, sharing that while I'm being recorded. But for me, it's a full body experience when I'm using it for my clients. So I always tell them, like, if you're not ready for somebody to know the deepest, darkest parts of you,
Yeah.
I'm not the one because I will go in there and I will do healing on your behalf to a capacity that you may not be aware of at this point, and you have to be ready for that because I'm going to share things, I'm going to see things, I'm going to know things, and I'm going to experience it. So
Yeah.
sometimes when the person is clearing out like their sacral chakra especially, I'm dry heaving. And I'm like, okay, hold on, hold on. So it's not always beautiful. It's kind of a hot mess, but it's intermittent, right? With the movement in the light language, just depending on what they're needing in that time frame. So it's not like a constant always, like I'm in light language the whole time. It's just kind of like that's what brings them, what is it called? Like the atmosphere, I guess. It helps create it, and I'm stepping into their energetic field. And then from there, I just kind of go, and the light language is what helps navigate me.
Yeah. So, do you ever feel like a barrier or like a block when you try to go do the healing? Because um when I mean I can do the healing as well. And like everything that you're saying, I can feel all this, I can see all that, I can do all that. So I've always believed, and I'm always open to new ideas, that we can like protect ourselves. I always, because that's the experience I've always had, is that if people don't want their deepest, darkest like secrets to be known, that their body like kind of protects themselves. Because if I'm going in for like a healing, maybe I won't get like exact information of what happened, but I can tell that it was bad.
Right,
It's
right.
not, I don't know what happened, um but I know how severe it was, and maybe I'll have like the feelings with it. So I could get clues, but maybe not exactly what has happened. And then sometimes it is straight up just like a block. Like they are just physically, or not physically, energetically like pushing me away, that they don't want that part to even be seen. So, um, yeah, like to me, I'm like, yeah, it's good for them to know that, yeah, I can go deep in there and heal whatever. Like, I don't know what's going to pop up. Um, so I was just curious, like, if you say that their deepest, darkest secrets can come up. I mean, yes, that's 100% true. They have to be ready for it. But I also feel like they can block it, like energetically, kind of without even knowing.
Sure, yeah. So I believe that we, like our bodies are ready to shed some shit, even though we physically may not be ready. So
Yeah.
I will see whatever is ready to come out, whether they're aware of it or not. As long as I have permission, then I'm going to go
Yeah.
there. And I
Yes.
will do that on their behalf because that's part of the reason why they come to me is because they want deeper, but they're not having that. But there are instances where I'm like, yo, there's nothing here for me to work with. Like,
Yeah.
there's um I've had people where it's like, I see this has to do with X, Y, and Z, but I am not given permission to touch this because this is a journey that you have to take.
Yeah.
So here's the information that, source allowed me to see to give
Yeah.
to you, but unfortunately, what you need to learn is in this, and I can't do that. So I do
Yeah.
have those hard times. I've only had one person where they've given me permission, but when I went in, I was like, yo, there is literally, you are not open. I don't even know why we're here. Like, what,
Yeah.
you're not open to anything.
Yes.
I can't do, there is nothing here. And to me, that just shows me how deep their stuff is. Like I can feel, like you said, I can feel certain things, but to me, it makes me sad because of how desolate they are in their own bodies. Like
Yeah.
they're just so disconnected that it's just, and that it also shows me that they're requiring me to do the work that they're not willing to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I work with people who have been on the road already. They're needing some help and some assistance. And I had to learn that hard in the beginning. It's like I said, I only had that one person where it was like pitch, like there was nothing. I was like, okay, God, what are you giving me here? But then, there's other people where it's like I can't I there's only so much I can do. I'm going to see all the things and feel the things, but there's certain things that you have to do to have that momentum going so I can come into that momentum and work with
Yeah.
that. But if shit is stagnant and you're so disconnected from yourself,
Yeah.
like, you know, I can only do so much.
Hmm.
I can only do so much. Like, you have to be at the forefront of your journey, of your healing
Yeah.
journey. Hmm.
100%. Some people think that like they're ready. Like, no, I'm ready. I'm ready to shed this. Like, this has been dragging me down. I'm ready. And it's like, no, no, you're not. I
Yeah.
can feel it. You're like, you're still willing to be the victim a little bit longer. So no.
Yeah, no, I mean it's
Or just,
true. And I'm that
yeah.
person too. It's like I I try to be professional but not sugarcoat either as well, like some people just need to hear it and some people because beating around the bush, like if you think about it, people with lots of trauma and craziness, like they're already I can't say they, I'm going to say we because I was part of that group. Like
Yeah.
we are blind to certain things. Like
Yeah.
we were not as sensitive in a sense of like red flags. Our red flags are like green, like we're like doo doo doo. So like we feel or where am I going with this? Like we try, like there's so much. Where was I going with this? I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
But people with a lot of trauma have a desire to work through things and to like, but they're just not, there has to be some groundwork done first.
Oh yeah.
And we think we're ready. Oh, this shit's dumb and we want to be done with it.
Yeah.
But there's so much, like we just don't see to the full capacity of how it's interfering with us. And so when we start stripping that, we start to see that it's impacting everything that we do and it becomes overwhelming. So then people
Yeah.
tend to like, okay, I'm done. They pull back instead of push through. And so it's
Yeah.
like, that's where I'm like, I want to work with the people who have already kind of pushed through a little bit so I can help that momentum push forward versus the person that's like, I haven't done any work, but I'm done. And so I'm here for you to do it. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
well, okay, listen.
It is. It's because it's like peeling an onion. It's like you got to keep peeling these layers, and there's just gonna keep being another one, and like and another one. And you have to be like not afraid to pull down that next one. But a lot of times people just tear into that first layer, yeah, and they're like, nope, nope, and they turn back around and they don't want to deal with it. Yeah, you definitely have to be ready. And I think just for the audience sake is like maybe you're asking yourself, when will I know if I'm ready? Because there is that feeling of like, I'm sick and tired of this. Um, but there really is a point where it's when you want to make a change and you want to make a change within yourself.
Mm,
It's not like wanting to change the other person. Like when you're done, keep talking about them and everything that they've done, and when you're really sick and tired of doing that and you want to like turn that mirror back on yourself and be like, okay, what can I change? That's when you're ready. So that will be a big clue. Are you done crying about everything that they've done to you? And
yeah,
and I don't want to say that like in a harsh way. I say that from very personal experience.
for sure. Same.
Um, and it's not, sometimes these people they're never gonna stop. But you
Mm,
have to look at yourself and say, well, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna change? Like what can I do differently? And when your language starts changing like that, that's when you're ready to go to Nilzara and get some healing
yeah.
energy.
Yes, yes. And that's huge. It's like, when are you'll know when the time is ready. Exactly. That was so good. When you are ready to do, like, to face the truth of what's going on. So, like, I've been married a good handful of times. And after my second marriage, I was just like, I think I'm the common denominator with all of it. Because I've been married three times, twice previously, but all the other guys I was with were all the same. They just had different faces, shapes, and sizes and skin color, you know? I'm not the one that's like, oh, they have a type. I have a spiritual type, you know? And energetically, they all came in the same package, but I had to be like, cool. There's something about this that's going on that I'm
Yeah.
constantly attracting the same type of energy into my life, regardless of what they look like, right? But it's giving me the same vibes and the same reactions, and some were worse than the others, and some were fucking wild, and some were not so much. But at the end of the day, the core of it was all the same, and I was still putting myself in very similar situations. And it wasn't until my second marriage that I was like, or afterwards, I was like, I am a common denominator. And it's not about fixing these men because I obviously don't know what I'm doing. Like, they end up crazier, but it's what can I do to like change this trajectory? Because if not, this shit's going to stay on repeat.
Yeah.
And why am I spending so much energy being mad at them when I can take that energy and be like, okay, Nilzara, what are we doing today? How are we changing this?
Yeah. I mean, that's huge. That is huge. Yeah, good for you. I've been down that road where, yeah, it's just like you constantly you finally realize exactly what you say, like I'm the common denominator in this.
Yeah.
What can I change?
Something we can touch base on since we're on this topic is like,
Yeah.
okay, we've identified that we're the common denominator and kind of like, where do we go from here? Because there's so
Yes.
many options and so many modalities and so many things that we can connect with. And one of the things I want to say that I think is really important is like some people hate titles and labels and all of this stuff. But honestly, like when we're first developing our or first starting our healing process, sometimes those labels like codependency or the trauma responses or attachment styles, those things are just there, first of all, to let you know you're not alone. Because if there's a name for it, that means there's a slew of other people who have experienced it to have a title. And it gives
Yes.
you the power to research. It gives you the power to understand how your body and how your mind has chosen to process or to keep you safe, right? To keep you safe. And you can learn about those things. They don't have to be who you are, but it's just how your brain has chosen to process the things that you've been through. And it'll give you some kind of groundwork to know what you're not necessarily working against, right? But what you have to start working with in order to get onto the other side of things where this is in control versus like your thought process being in, over there somewhere being wild and crazy and you stuck in your body. So it's
Yeah.
like being able to research to empower yourself, finding somebody on the outside that you can connect with that has worked on their green flags, right? That has
Yeah.
a handle of their red flags, that has kind of been there, done that, so they can help you navigate. Because if we could have done it already, we would have, but here we
Yeah.
are, right? So
Yeah.
finding that person or finding that podcast, finding that book, finding the energy work, whatever it is, just to get that momentum going. The
Yeah.
momentum, the motions, the emotions, all of that to start getting that going and gaining that relationship with yourself.
Right.
So I'll throw that.
Because yeah, I loved everything that you said. It's interesting because I have the same beliefs. Even with the on the other end of it of like when you're talking about like the titles and um like narcissist, that seems like a hot topic word. But even realizing that something like that is just a tool for you to understand. Like you can dive in, see what a narcissist is. Maybe you're, dealing with one, two, or many of them in your life.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, those people are also they're living a life of fear. They're living like they're struggling internally a lot. And so I was thinking about that when you're talking about titles and stuff, because I think a lot of people will still want to stay in that woe is me kind of mindset of like, oh, but you don't know what this person's done to me. Like they're a narcissist. And it's like, well, I'm glad that you did your homework and you learned what a narcissist is and what they, do. But the growth starts happening when you realize that those people, are having a human experience as well. And the things that they've done have probably helped you. I know it sounds crazy, but it's probably helped you get to this healing path that you're on. And you may never have gone on this healing journey or even, tried to get any type of help if this person didn't behave the way that they did. Say it was just like a little bit milder of what they did, you'd probably be sticking around still. And there's probably people that still hang out with them because it's not that, bad.
Mhm.
But, I think sometimes we have to look at it as like letting that go. But they're a narcissist and they keep doing this to me. Um, it's just like they're in a lot of pain. They're living a life of fear, and their life is probably way more miserable than you could ever imagine.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's great is like um everybody is there, everyone that we connect to energetically, like there's a core connection there. So
Yeah,
it's just your how so when I teach, so I tend to teach a lot of like codependent type um people with codependency, the fawning response and stuff like that. And they're like, I always attract narcissists. And what we need to remember is that there's a core energy that's the same. They're just on different spectrums. So, yes, there are narcissists and they treat you this way, but you have the authority to like not have them in your life. And I understand like
yeah.
extreme cases are really bad, and that's not what we're necessarily talking about right now, but we're just talking about the douchebags that kind of take advantage of all the people, right? So like you have, that's where it's like, yeah, I get it. I understand that there are narcissists and they continue to do this, but you have the authority to get yourself out of that situation.
Oh
And then there
yeah.
will come a time in your healing process where you can see them in a viewpoint of like, if this never happened, I wouldn't be here, and I'm grateful for that, you
Yeah.
know? And so, sometimes people get mad when we mention that, but it's absolutely true. But they're just not there
Mhm.
yet. So we can set that aside and let you
Yeah.
be in your emotions for right now and let you
Yeah.
process that and work that out. But
Yeah.
we have to remember that everything that we're connected to, there is a core, there's an energy there that is connected to that. There's familiarity, is that the word?
Hmm.
With that, there is, some of us thrive in chaos. Some of us,
Yeah.
you put me in a household with a douchebag, 5, 10 years ago, and I'd be like, hey guys, I got this under control. Then
Yeah.
you give me someone like my husband, I'm like, it's kind of boring. I would be like, babe, are you mad at me? And he's like,
Yeah.
for what? And I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know. We haven't argued. So
Yeah.
I'm just checking in, making sure, it's a
Yes.
whole different thing. Some of us really thrive in really shitty situations, and that's the unfortunate truth of things. So when like we heal, there's so much of
I'm one of
this.
them.
Yes, me too. It's like, it's just so crazy. I think back and I look at my parents and I'm like, wow, like, what kind of setup was this, damn it? What did I agree to here?
Oh,
Like, this is
yeah.
crazy. So, anyways,
Yeah.
like there's so many dynamics to things, but at the end of the day, like the energy that we carry is going to perpetuate cycles in our life. And if we are used to having douchebags in our life, until the day we say, like, okay, I need to focus on me, they're going to continue. It's going to continue. You can leave a million douchebags, but if you haven't changed here, you're going to meet a million more. So absolutely, like it's just a lot to it for sure.
Yeah, I liked what you just said about, until you decide that you're going to focus on yourself. That is one of the hardest things to do. And it's crazy how hard it is to turn it back on you and give yourself like the time and the love that you deserve. But that was my turning point. Like it was deciding that. I I'm gonna love me. I'm gonna love me 100%. I'm gonna own everything I've done in this life. I'm gonna, apologize to my younger self. I'm gonna like just really work through all of it and just accept me for who I am 100%. And that was a huge, I mean, that I I remember like telling myself that. I mean, I like turned my entire life around by just telling myself like you are loved, Megan. Like you you are loved, you are, deserving and having this conversation and I just made a decision like right then and there like we're not doing this anymore. Like we're you're gonna love yourself. Um and I remember people told me that I was being selfish. Like, you're so selfish. Like, why? Who just says like that you love yourself? And it was it was like this girl who's healed right here.
I do. Thank you very much.
But how crazy is it for people to think that loving yourself is selfish? Like
So sad.
yeah.
So sad. And I know for me, that was very much like my cultural and religious conditioning because I'm Hispanic, Puerto Rican. And then I feel like it was amplified by the Christian teachings that I was involved in that we are here to cater. And that is how we show love. And
Yeah.
that is how we show people to care, care, how that we care, and then we have as women, we have the societal norms and, all of that stuff that also amplify, like we're the caretakers and we do all of this stuff. And very much like anybody, like I can't stress this enough, anybody who has constantly sacrificed themselves for the greater good, quote unquote, you will, it's inevitable that you will get somebody that's like, ew, you're being selfish, or like, I can't believe you're doing this, and that's going to be normal pushback. And you can either let that affect you and keep you small, or you can allow that to continue to come as you grow and you move past that. Because that is, we, if we are in a place where we are constantly neglecting ourselves, we are also conditioning those around us with the experience that we're providing. So our connections that we make with people are because we neglect ourselves, and that is
Yeah.
how we're maintaining the connection. But the
Mhm.
second that we start transitioning to connecting with ourselves, then that's where we're going to start to see the original connections that we made, because that foundational piece of neglect of ourself is no longer there. So we're going to get
Yeah.
pushback.
Oh
And not
yeah.
only that, it's going to, like you said, it's super hard in the beginning to like take care of ourselves or focus on ourselves. I mean, we've lived a life where we neglected ourselves. So, of course, it's going to feel weird and out of place and uncomfortable because we've conditioned ourselves to believe that our body and who we are is only valuable if we're serving others.
Yeah.
And so that all of that, we have to take all of that in consideration, especially in the beginning, because it's just going to be a hot mess for a little bit.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing that and saying that because I get so many people like trying to compare themselves like, well, I'm not like you. I can't just do that. Like I can't I, I don't know. And I'm like, no, you think that this is easy? Like you think that like I'm
Yeah.
not getting shamed? Do you think like there's not rumors going on about me? I can physically feel like them rolling their eyes, pushing, just energetically, even just pushing me away. And, and it's people I'm really closest to where I thought I was.
Yes, that's
And
the hardest.
yeah, and it's not easy making these changes and deciding to heal and just become a better version of yourself, but it is worth it. Like it is so worth it. Like pushing through, healing yourself. Um, but yeah, just to kind of go back to the light language, like there's so many outlets now. Like there's so many people offering these healings. So yeah, just to our audience, like when you're ready, like for real ready,
Yes.
like it's so amazing how much is out there and really good people that can help you along this journey. And it doesn't have to be lonely, and you're gonna be able to handle all the comments and roll the eyes, and it's gonna be okay. But it's definitely not easy. It's a very hard decision.
Yeah, yeah. It's like we have two decisions. If your life blows ass, you can have it blow ass continuously and probably get worse, right?
Yeah.
Or it can blow ass a little bit while you're trying to heal, and then eventually you'll be in control in a capacity where you understand your thoughts, feelings, and emotions to help you navigate those things. And it gets lighter and easier, and you're not in the same rut as you used to be. So you get to
Yeah.
choose, like what do you want to be in, you know?
Yeah, it's like that saying, like the short-term sacrifice, long-term success. Like I catch myself saying that all the time. Like it is. It's just right now a little bit of a sacrifice, a little bit of a hard time, but oh, the other side is
Yeah,
magical. Let me tell you.
it
It is
really
just like
is.
joy and sunshine and um and actually I don't want to like just to clarify though, and also, I mean, not saying that we don't have hard days. Like we still have hard days, but after healing and working through things, like you don't have these like crazy outbursts like you used to. Like I know for me, I mean, I would be like snapping on my kids like for the smallest little thing that they would do. And I look back like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I would like get upset at them for like it was always me. It was me. It was me in a bad mood that was like trying to micromanage everything they did because I'm trying to like control the situation. And really, it had nothing to do with them. It had to do with other stuff that was going on in my life that I needed to handle and I needed to heal from and not take it out on my family. So, I mean, now my whole family is thriving just because of the changes that I've decided to make. So, it's
Yes.
worth it.
It really, and I want to emphasize, like, when we start, like, there's so much power in when we start regulating ourselves and start putting our foot down. Like, so much is dysregulated because we're dysregulated. We're all
Oh
over
yeah.
the place. And so if you feel like your life is chaotic, just know that when you start internalizing, meaning like you start working on yourself, you'll start to see the things on the outside align, or even if they don't align, you necessarily or just like meh. You're like, that shit's not going to change, and whether I'm good or not, but it doesn't affect you the same way because
Yeah.
you're more grounded and you have worked on yourself, and there's not so many pent up emotions, and you're doing what you need to do. And so it's not that we're saying that we are like, oh, look at us, we're healing. It's just that we have a better grasp on our human experience. So, not to
Yeah.
say that those human experiences don't happen. I still experience anxiety, but my anxiety doesn't consume me anymore. It doesn't take me to a dark place. It doesn't
Yeah.
take me to the fridge where I eat a whole cake anymore. Like, my
Yeah.
anxiety is an indicator now, like, okay, some shit's going down. So this means that I have to baby myself a little bit until this kind of moves, light language or whatever I do, tuning forks. And then I let that move and then I can proceed. It's just an indicator. It's a navigating tool for me now versus like, oh my gosh, I'm having anxiety and now everything closes down. So it's a completely different experience. Some things don't change on the outer world, but because we're changed, it doesn't affect us like it did before because we're not constantly living outside of ourselves.
Right. Beautifully said. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So Nilzara, where can everyone find you?
So right now I am most active on TikTok under
Okay.
Light Language Mystic. uh, light language mystic at Gmail, if anything. I do have my website and stuff up, but they are actually under transition right now. I just had surgery, and so me and Source have been working things out, and I'm really fine tuning things, and I'm really focusing on eldest daughters of addict fathers
Okay.
and providing healing for them. So that's where my focus is going to go because I'm the eldest daughter of an addict. And so I really feel like not that we're special, we just carry certain things that really help shift. Like if we can learn how to fine tune the skills that we had to develop in trauma and use it in
Yeah.
everyday life in a way that's not traumatic, then
Yeah.
those can absolutely be our superpowers. So TikTok is where it's at, and then the link in my TikTok that is always going to be updated with my in-person and online events. I'm just kind of taking a hiatus right now because I had surgery a couple weeks ago,
Okay.
so I'm not really, I'm not posting videos. I do lives when I can, but I'm here. I'm working behind the scenes, so all my updates will be on TikTok.
Okay. And honestly, I'm so glad that you shared that because I think, again, like when we were talking about like don't be so hard on yourself. Like, I think we always think that we have to do so much and we end up getting taken advantage in that way. So, just to know, hey, my body needs to rest. Like, I need to focus on me right now. Like, more power to you. That's absolutely
Thank
amazing.
you.
And do it and rest and heal, and you're going to come back better than ever.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. If something resonated, follow along and share this with someone who needs a new perspective. The views shared are personal to each guest and are simply their own, and these conversations are not a substitute for a medical or professional advice. Thank you for tuning in.